This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to GoOnlineTrainings.com. So, yesterday we were talking about control flow tasks. Let me open my project, go to Start, Dev ENV. Hope everybody is installed with the software. Okay, Dev ENV. Now I wanted to open my existing project. Under recent, you can see lot of projects. Then you can go in for this. Okay, SSIS demos June 05/2020. We are having MSBI project batch. Okay, people who know SSIS. After doing SSIS, you can plan for MSBI project. So that will be for 30 days. I think Sonia joined and she is busy now. She's not doing, but others also can join. It will be there in the evening 7 p.m. IST. So whatever we are discussing in MSB, SSIS and RS and AS plus equals our everything will get covered in the project. It is completely hands-on, no theory at all. So you will see end-to-end implementation of one insurance project. So the same project you can keep as part of your CV as well. Clear? So if anybody is interested to work on the MSBA project, so let me know. But you should know SSIS. So integration services you should know. Then only you can start the project. Clear? So probably after 10-15 days, you can start doing the project. The same project you can keep as part of your CV. We're going to be starting from OLTP to moving the data to data staging, from staging to data warehousing, and implementing lot of patterns, then cleansing the data, then afterwards creating a cubes, and creating store procedures, working on reports and deploying all of them into the new servers, and create deployment guide and everything. Okay, so it is a very big project. So you will definitely will get lot of benefits out of that. Okay, yeah, that you can plan later if you wanted to plan. So now we had seen data flow task, execute SQL, analysis, bulk insert, data profiling. The next one is called execute package task. So as name suggests, you can execute another package. Clear? So now it's used to call other packages, can create parent and child packages. Packages are executed parallelly sometime. For example, I have created let me go to this. I have created, let us say, demo number one, demo number two, demo number three. I wanted to, call, or I wanted to execute all packages at a time. So if I wanted to execute all packages at a time, so what should I do? So at any point in time, you should be able to execute only one package. Right click on this, you can execute this package, or you can execute this package, or you can execute whatever be the open package. When you start, only this package will get executed. Clear? But now I wanted to execute all packages, or I would like to have master and child packages, this kind of a thing if you wanted to implement. So what I do, I go and create a new package, rename F2 for rename. Okay, F2 or function F2. For example, I'm going to be creating demo number 4, a parent package, something like this. Now I would like to take execute package task, execute package task, and execute package task. I go double click on this and go to package. I will be able to call demo number 1. Okay, in this go to the package. Now here I should be able to call demo number 2. In this I go to the package, call demo number 3. Okay, so when I execute demo parent to 1, when I click on execute, which is internally calling demo 1, demo 2, demo 3, all of them are parallel. If you wanted to call one by one, you can have like this. So demo number 1, demo number 2, demo number 3. So one function can call another function, right? One procedure can call another procedure. Like that, one package can call another package. Now, sometimes I would like to create a separate packages, loading employee table, loading a department table, loading sales table. I'm going to be loading three tables. But now sometimes I wanted to, load all the tables at a time. So what we do? We create, three packages like this, and all of them you're going to be calling. So this could be demo number one could be, it is, loading. You can write like this: loading employee table or loading department table. After department table is loaded, you wanted to load, okay, loading employee table. After employee table is loaded, and you have a load sales table, something like this. Load sales table, or you can say load product table, prod table, load customer table, right? Load customer table, load sales table. So why you need to load those tables first? Because these will have a primary keys, and customer ID, product ID will be the primary key in the sales table. Sales table will have the sales amount, sales quantity, customer ID, and product ID will be the foreign keys. Clear? So if you wanted to execute one by one, you should be able to go and execute like this. But I wanted to execute all the packages one by one, and there is a proper sequencing. First, I have to, load prod and these tables, or I would like to load like this. So I would like to load, customer table, product table, but after loading these two tables, I wanted to load sales table because this can start parallelly, but once it is finished and once it is finished, if both of them are finished, then I can start loading the sales table. Clear? Because I'm going to be having primary keys here. So primary key tables have to be loaded. What normally people are going to be doing? So whenever you load the data to the data warehousing, so remember I told you one thing yesterday. So data warehousing is going to be having two types of tables. What is it? First table, dimension tables, and the fact tables. Okay, what is the dimension, what is the fact, we're going to be discussing in detail in the data warehousing. But remember, dimension tables will have what is called as the primary keys. Fact tables will have what is called a foreign keys. Clear? If you wanted to load the data warehouse, which tables to be loaded first? That is also one more interview question. So if you wanted to load the data to the data warehouse, which tables data to be loaded first? The answer is dimension table data. Why? Because without a primary key, you will not be able to have the data in the foreign key tables. Clear? So whenever you load the data warehousing, remember this point always: dimension tables have to be loaded first, then only factor tables. Why is that so? Because there is a relationship between primary key and foreign key. But normally, what some people are doing, I had seen some of the data warehousing, they create dimension tables and the packet tables. Okay, they create, but they never create a primary key and foreign keys here. I had seen a lot of data warehouses like that. They'll have a data warehouse and the dimension tables will be there, factor tables will be there, but there is no primary key and foreign key relationship. If there is no primary key and foreign key relationship, then you can load any table anytime. So that doesn't matter. Clear? You can load factor tables first. You can load dimension tables later because there is no primary key and foreign key. If this is the case, you can have anything can be loaded anytime. But normally in the data warehouse, which tables are loaded first? Is it a factor table or dimension table? It is completely dimension tables have to be loaded first, then only factor table. Why? Because there is a primary key and foreign key relationship that you should know clearly. This is also one of the interview questions. How do you load the data to the data warehousing? Now, so this is what is called execute package task. One package can call another package. If you wanted to call another pack, all the packages simultaneously means you can simply remove them, and all demo number one, demo number two, demo number three, demo number four, all the packages will run at each time. Clear? That's what you need to understand. Now, let me show you some properties here. Okay, now there is a property called max concurrent executables minus one. So concurrent means simultaneously, parallelly. So maximum how many tasks you can execute? I told you, right? So SSIS can run anything parallel. If you have thousands of activities, do you think that all thousands of activities can be run parallelly? Answer is no. Thousands of activities. Somebody is unmuting. Who's that? Okay. So please mute, guys. So whenever you have thousands of activities here, not thousand, at least when you have 10, 20 activities here, max concurrent executables, it is saying minus one. What do you mean by minus one? Minus one, if you have processors, for example, I have processors five. So five minus one means, that means at a time, I should be able to execute four activities parallelly. Clear? So I3, I4, I5, it is not a single processor. Clear? I7 is going to be having seven processors. If you have seven processors minus one, so that is the meaning of this. So when you say max concurrent executables minus one means you have seven processors in your computer minus one. So at a time, you will be able to execute six tasks at a time. So parallelly, if you have 10 activities, first six will get executed first, remaining four executed later, because you're having seven processors in your laptop. Each processor is going to be taking one task and it's going to be loading the data. So people would ask you how many processes or how many tasks we can execute simultaneously. It is always a number of processors available in your computer minus one. Clear? So that is very, very important. People may ask you this. What is the minus one? Minus one means number of processors minus one. That is the meaning of this. How did I come to this? You simply go to the control flow, right click on this, simply go to properties. Now you should be able to find out max concurrent executables minus one, or you can say minus two, whatever you would like to have it. By default value is minus one. So one processor is going to be given for the operating system purpose. Remaining things you should be able to use for the SSIS purpose. That is uh, the thought behind that. The next one is called execute process task. So if I wanted to execute any application, or you can say exe files, used to run third-party executables .exe files, .batch files. Normally we're going to be using execute process task usage. Call any other application such as zipping, unzipping, sending SMS. For example, customer may give you data in a zipped format, or a customer may ask you data in the zipped format. So what happens if I give you some data in a zipped format? You have to unzip it and take the data from the each and every file, and you supposed to load the data into the servers. Clear? So you never think that you will get data in individual files or a single file. So 10,000 files will get zipped together and you will get only one file. You need to unzip that file, and when you unzip you will get 10,000 files. So what we need to do, we have to loop one by one, get all the data from the 10,000 files, load it into staging server. Then after that, what you do, you move the file to the archive folder. You have to move the file to the archive folder, and all the processed files again need to be zipped, and those files you may be moving into one more server. Clear? Client may give you zipping data, you have to unzip it, again you need to zip it. For that purpose we're going to be using execute process task. Or I would like to simply communicate to saying that this table has been processed. I would like to send a broadcast message with the help of a WhatsApp. So I have to call an Android, I have to develop one Android app, Android exe file I have to develop, that I should be able to call as part of my SSIS. For example, I have loaded demo number one. So after that, I can say execute process task. This is going to be calling a Android mobile. It is intimating everybody saying that this table data has been loaded. Now you can start your activity if you wanted to work on this table, something like this. I would like to have a broadcast message. Okay, so you can call .NET application, Java application, .NET, Java, PHP, whatever you have, everything you can call it, and you should be able to get the data from there. Or you would like to perform zipping, unzipping, or whatever you would like to do, you can do it. So that can be done with the help of execute process task. Clear? So people may ask you in which scenario you have used or did you use execute process task. You can tell them that I got a lot of files in the zipped format. To unzip that, normally we have used execute process task. Okay, you have to install WinZip or WinRAR. Using that, you should be able to zip or unzip. So that is also we're going to do a small demo tomorrow. An expression task. If you wanted to write any kind of an expressions, clear? So where we are going to be using expression task. For example, I would like to loop something. It is used to write simple expressions, looping expressions, variable assignment expressions, something like this. For example, customer will give you a zipped file folder, and when you unzip it, you will get thousands of files. Then you will be processing file by file. Customer wanted to ask end of the day, how many files you have processed today, or how many files you found in that folder, in the zipped folder. So if I wanted to find out number of files which I'm processing, and you can use simple expression, and this can count number of files given by the customer today and how many we have processed. So all the things you should be able to log into a separate you can create a logging table. You can tell them that I got today one folder, zipped folder name is abc.zip. When I open it, I got 3000 files, and each file I have thousands of rows. And this file is processed during this and this time. It processed 1000 rows. Second file, could not process. I got some error. Third file, I'm able to process, and this is the path. So, lot of things you should be able to log it, and the number of files you have processed will be available, number of rows you have processed which is available, and which are filed, which where you're able to load all the data from files, everything you should be able to create a log, and or you can mention all the information for the client purpose. Okay, so if you wanted to have some kind of a expressions, then you can use this task. This is very simple task that we can use as part of our SSIS. Now, for the next one is file system task. What do you mean by file system? File system means operating system. Remember this. If somebody says, I'm using a file server means what? Which is the operating system server. If you buy hardware, install purely Linux, install purely Windows, and leave it as it is. That computer is called as a file server or file system server. It is having only operating system, no other software is installed in that. But inside file system, what you can do, you can store the data in a files or in a folder. Clear? So it is used to create, delete, move, copy, rename files and folders. File system task can work with the operating system. It can create a file or create a folder, delete a file, delete a folder, rename a file, rename a folder. So any action, copy, paste, move, rename, cut, whatever you would like to do, you can do on files and folders. Clear? So sometimes what happens is that I would like to create a folder with the current month name and current month year. So current month name is June 2020. So I will be able to create a folder in D drive. I am getting a lot of files. I have to process those files and move those files into June 2020 archive. So after processing, I have to load the data. I have to load those files into separate folders. So with the help of a timestamp, you should be able to create a folder. The folder can be created with the help of a file system task. Clear? So next month you can create one more folder called July 2020. You will be able to move the July data, July files there. but data is going to be going to the database. Clear? You take the data, you take the file, take the data from the file, move into a database, move the file from the source folder to the destination folder, or you create an archive folder called July 2020, 2020 archive. So all the processed files are going to be moved to the archive folder. Am I clear? So let me tell you like this. Sometimes you create a folder in your D drive. You're going to be moving the files using SSIS. Okay. This folder could be in D drive. Let us say some source files. Whatever be the files the customer is giving you, that will be loaded onto this. Then using SSIS, what normally we're going to be doing, we're going to be loading the data to a database. This is your database, any database, data warehousing, or it could be staging, somewhere you're moving. But after moving, I have a couple of files here. These files, I should not leave it as it is. So what SSIS is going to be doing, it is also moving these files to one more folder. Okay, this is a folder. We can create one more folder in the same D drive. You can say it is archive. Folder name is archive folder, archive files. So you're going to be moving this file. Once the data is gone, this file will get moved here. Once the data is gone from here to here, data will go. The file will get moved. When the data is gone, the data will go, 1,000 rows will go to the data warehouse. The file will get moved to this. So again, tomorrow you will be able to get the new files, because when you get the new files, if you run SSIS package, it is going to be taking this file data and going to be moving it there. After moving the data, what happens? You have to move the file here, because otherwise what happens, if you keep all the files, if you run a loop, so old data, new data, all the files will be available here. When you run the loop, the old data also will get duplicated. So when you have a loop, what you need to do, take this file and move the file here, and take the file, move the file, because never you will get a single file, you will get thousands of files. You have to load the data and move the file to the archive folder. And archive folder, you can create again subfolders. June 2020, July 2020, like that we can create lot of subfolders and move these files to the each and every respective folders, so that these files came in June, these files came in June, July, these fields came in January 2019. Like that you have archive. Archive means old files. Clear? New files always you will be able to dump into the source folder. Clear? Each and every file will have thousands of rows. The rows will be able to go to a table in the data warehousing, or you may have multiple tables. Okay, some of the files are going to be loading the data to the customer table. Some of the data is going to be loaded to the product table. But all the files you're going to be getting, customer in .txt, prod.txt, sales underscore India.txt, sales underscore Dubai.txt, sales underscore America.txt, all the sales data, but different countries. All the data has to come here, but these files will be here. But original data is going to go to the data warehousing. Before data warehousing, you assume that data will reach first staging, from there data warehouse. Clear? That's what you need to understand. Okay, so where exactly we're going to be using a file system dynamically, I would like to create a folder. I would like to add a timestamp folder there and move the files over there. Something like this I would like to have it. Now FTP task. FTP task means file transfer protocol. If I wanted to download or upload, okay, if I wanted to download or upload files from the FTP server, so how am sharing my files, my videos to you, with the help of a Google Drive or OneDrive? So OneDrive is equivalent to FTP. Remember, I would like to give you some data, but all the data I'm giving you in the FTP server. For example, One of our student is working for Tech Mahindra. Is working for Tech Mahindra. So there is a project called Mahindra and Mahindra, M&M. Okay. So M&M is working currently. So what M&M is going to be doing? Mahindra and Mahindra, they're into sales of tractors and a lot of other equipments. The sales of the given region, given state will get loaded onto one Excel sheet. Okay. So they have one Excel sheet. Sales of my town is going to be entered here by my dealer. Like that, all over the world or all over the India and all over Asia, we have a lot of dealers are available in different areas. Daily sales, daily equipments, daily stocks, everything will be available in Excel. So I will be able to get a sheet called sales dot Hyderabad dot XLSX. Okay, this is the file will be given by Hyderabad. So my town now, my city dealers, and like that we have a lot of cities available. Sales underscore Bangalore. This is one more city. We have one more dealer, and we have sales underscore. Let us say some Delhi. Like that, end of the day, lot of files will get uploaded to where? Uploaded to a server called FTP server. Clear? So these people are going to be uploading. So this file will go there, and this file also will go there, and this file also will go. The three files will get loaded. Like that, every day evening, these folder Mahindra and Mahindra FTP server will get thousands of files. Now next day, what our student is doing, he is running FTP task and downloading all the files to this source files folder, or this could be the name of the folder called Mahindra. You can give a beautiful name, M&M you can say. So M&M is the name. The complete files from the FTP server. Okay. Yesterday's sales will get downloaded from here. Downloaded. And using this, using SSIS, you're looping through all the files, taking the data from Excel sheets, and you're going to be dumping it here. And this Hyderabad, Bangalore, Delhi, these files will get archived here. Clear? So what is the FTP server? FTP server is nothing but a OneDrive or a Google Drive. You can think like that. So many companies are going to provide the data in the FTP server. One of the interview question also. So they'll ask you like this. The question is, how do you get the data from the customer? Data from the customer. So if you say customer will be attaching his files in the email. When you say like that, people will definitely laugh at you. No customer is going to be attaching the files in emails, Gmails, Outlook, or your personal or official mail IDs. How do you get the data from the customer? Means you can tell them that using FTP servers. Customer will be uploading the data. The all dealers will be uploading their data in this example every day evening by 7 p.m. Now, next day morning, these people are downloading those files from the FTP server, and all the data will get loaded to the data warehousing. Fresh reports are shared. Okay. So this is FTP, or one more thing is called shared folder. You create a folder, one shared folder. So lot of client applications will be dumping those files into this folder. So you're not going to go to the customer and ask, hey customer, you give me the data. So not like that. So you will have a shared folder. Once in a week, once in a month, once in a quarter, the folder will get the files. Clear? Or once in a daily or once in a week, you will have FTP server, and where you should be able to get the data, or you can connect it to a database service directly, and you should be able to get the data. So something like this, you can say, how do you get the data from the customers? So this is how you should be able to get the data using what? Using shared drives, FTP server, and databases. So all files in video file, audio file, this file, that file can be given via FTP and shared folder, and databases and everything you should be able to connect. Okay. But if you have any other thing, for example, you can also get the data from the websites. For that, you can use web services and everything. You can tell them that I never used any web services. So these are the sources I have used. Okay. The next question is that what are the sources that did you use in your previous project? Okay, you can tell so flat file or CSV files, or you can say Excel files. Okay, Excel files, and you can say XML file. That's it, not more than that. And I'm getting the data from SQL Server, and I'm also getting the data from Oracle. Okay, if you wanted to say you're getting the data from DB2, that is also DB2 means if you have mainframe. So if you have mainframe applications, you will be able to get the data from here. If you have SAP application or any other application, you should be able to get any SAP or Java applications when you should be able to get the data from Oracle DB2 mainframe. Or you can restrict yourself for one or two, that means FF flat file, SQL Server, Oracle, and FTP and shared folder. This is more than sufficient. What about did you anytime get the data from DB2? If they ask you like that, no, I don't have any opportunity to work with the DB2. As of now, I am working only with this. The next question people would be asking, what is the size of the data? Okay, so people definitely ask what is the size of the data, how frequently you get the data. So you can tell them that. So we'll get some data daily. Okay. Some data will get weekly, or you don't get any data weekly. You get every monthly, or some of the data, some companies will get quarterly. I was working with Microsoft. We used to get complete sales of Microsoft once in a quarter. Okay, so we had created a big, shared drive in a chain. One is in Singapore, and one more, server we had in China, Beijing, I think. Beijing, we had a big server. One more server in Singapore, that is there in SAP, and one more server we kept in Dublin. So these are three servers we kept, and we have created a shared folders. So once in a quarter, the different applications are dumping the files over there. So from the China, from Singapore, and from Dublin, from Hyderabad, we are getting the data, and we are loading into a staging server which is available in our premises. Clear? So all the shared folders are available in different locations, and from there, using a network connection, we can read all the files and load the data into the staging server which is available in our Hyderabad campus in Gachibowli. So after that, what happens? This data is going to go to upload it to the Redmond of US, where Microsoft, Bill Gates sits. All the data from India, Hyderabad campus is going to be loaded to the Redmond. We have a couple of servers there, so the data will reach once in a quarter. So their SSIS team is going to be sitting with the data warehousing team, and we have a Power BI, and those people are creating a lot of reports. Those reports will be given to the CEO of Microsoft. They wanted to understand the sales of Microsoft worldwide. So the data coming from different parts to India. From India, the data is going to go to US Redmond office. From there, the reports are created. So that is how we were working. The project name called Feed Store. It is very big project. It is having 4,500 applications. Okay, 4,500 applications are using this, and Feed Store is OLTP database. Okay, from there we are putting into Stage Feed Store. It is one of the Microsoft, this one. Okay, so after that, the data is going to go to data warehousing. The data warehousing database is called Accumulate. Okay, so this is the database name, Accumulated database. So we have Feed Store, we have Stage Feed Store, then we have Accumulate. So this is the Accumulate is available. It is a data warehouse which is available in Redmond. Okay, Feed Store is the database which is available in different places. Plus, we also get a lot of files from Redmond and China, Beijing, and Singapore, India. All the data will get loaded to here. From here, this data will go to data warehousing. We have lot of applications are consuming data from feed store. Lot of applications are consuming data from accumulated data warehousing. So these 5,000, 4,500 applications inclusive of SAP, they have a .NET, they have Java. Microsoft is also using different technologies, not only their own technologies. Clear? So lot of applications are consuming data from the OLTP as well as from the data warehousing. This was very complex application developed in Microsoft in 1981. Okay, 1981. So very complex, very complex. Clear? So what is the size of the data? So how do you get the data? Means daily, weekly, monthly. So you can tell them that daily approximately we get 3,000 files. Okay. Each file may have minimum 1,000 rows. You may have minimum 4 million records or 5 million records, or you can say 10 million rows. Okay. So something like this, you can say we may get a minimum 3,000 files. Some of the files may be having 100 rows. That means the files size may be with the 2 MB, starting with 1 MB, to the files may be 4 GB of file also. All of them are the text files. We may be getting some 2 to 3 files per day. We'll be getting GBs of data. Remainings are only 10,000, 20,000, 1,000, something like this we'll be getting. Okay. So sometimes weekly also we'll get some 1,000 files, 500 files like that. Or you can say daily we get and monthly we'll get. Or you can say weekly some files will get, quarterly we get. So this is the data we are going to be getting. So put together 1 month, every month. So monthly data, files data, database data, monthly approximately 200 GB data per month. Okay. So this is the size, average size we can talk about. Average size, database data, this data, that data. Every month we're getting 200 GB of data. Now you can think 200 GB per month into 12 months. So approximately 2.4 terabytes of data per year in your data warehousing. Clear? This is for a year. If you're talking about 10 years of data, 10 years of data, 24 terabytes of data. Okay. So 24 terabytes of data. So each data warehouse, so maximum average size in the data warehouse worldwide, it is 10 to 14 terabytes. If you have 50 terabytes, 100 terabyte in a single data warehouse, it is not going to work. It is going to collapse. Clear? So they may use 2 or 3 data warehouses. Okay, one data warehouse will have 12 terabyte, and one more will have 12 terabyte of data. So 5 years of data may be here, and you may be having 5 years of data may be here. So average size of the data warehouse could be 10 to 14 terabytes. That is the better thing. If you wanted to have more and more data in a single data warehouse, means don't go in for the data warehouse, go in for the Hadoop. Clear? So better keep all the data into Hadoop cluster. Hadoop is going to be storing all the data. So Hadoop also can have a data warehouse. So it is going to be having HDFS, right? Hadoop distributed file system, where you can create a data warehouse. Or if you don't want to create a data warehouse, simply load the data as it is into the HDFS. If you have more and more data, and you can do the processing with the help of a cube and everything. So that is also possible. Or you can create these data warehouses. So one data warehouse size could be 10 to 12 or 10 to 14, like that. You should be able to maintain. So 5 years, one data warehouse means it is very good. Okay. So data warehouse like Teradata and NetEase, even Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, these are going to be, working perfectly fine. There is no issue. Any RDBMS software you can install it. SQL Server, Oracle, NetEase, Teradata, these are the softwares which are available to create your data warehouse. Clear? So people may ask you, what is the size of your data warehouse? You can tell them that. So last 3 to 4 years data we are maintaining It is 6 terabytes of data as of now we have. So every month we are getting 100 GB of data. So 1 year data would be 1 terabyte of data. So 10 years of data would be 10 terabytes of data. One hardware for 10 years is very good. Clear? So something like this we can plan. So otherwise, if they have more and more data, what they do, they create a lot of subsets. For example, if they're getting 200 GB of data every month. So this is marketing data, sales data, employee data, lot of data. So they say 50 GB, it is employee data per month is, let us say this is a sales data. And okay, and another 50 GB maybe for the marketing data like that, or some other data, accounts data. So what you do, you create a separate warehouse for sales. You can create separate warehouse for marketing or accounts. We can create separate data for the employees. So like that, you have three data warehouses. One data warehouse for the employees purpose, employee joinings, increments and salary, sort of other stuff. And one more data warehousing for sales and marketing. One more data warehouse for the loans and something else. Like that, we can create a different data warehouses. One data warehouse will have one particular data. One data warehouse will have one particular data. That is also one more way you can organize your data warehouses. So you will have plenty of data warehouses. But if you wanted to do the analytics on the accounts, then go for the data warehouse number one. If you wanted to do analysis on the marketing and sales and strategies, then go for the data warehouse number two. Like that, people can divide all the data into different data warehousing, or they may divide the data based on your this one, or based on the year number, year wise, or you may keep the data warehouse based on the location wise. Data warehouse Amazon India, data warehouse Amazon UK, data warehouse Amazon Yugoslavia, data warehouse Amazon USA, data warehouse Amazon Switzerland, New Zealand. Like that, Amazon is having a lot of data warehouses, but not only one. India data is going to come to this one, and India is a lot of population, right? So maybe they're having South India, North India, something like this. Data warehouse underscore South India, data warehouse underscore North India, something like this. So you can have a lot of data warehouses. Am I clear? So these are very important questions that you should aware. Clear? So how do you get the data? So I told you shared folders and FTP servers. We're going to be doing a real-time demo on this. No worries. Now for Hadoop file system, to move the local files to the HDFS file system, we're going to be using. So anyhow, we don't have any Hadoop installed in our this one. But if you wanted to keep the data from local system to Hadoop environment, you should be able to use this. SSIS can talk to Hadoop as well. We can take the file as it is and dump the file as it is to the Hadoop. Hadoop does not need the data in a table. Remember this. Data warehouse needs a table, and the file data has to go to the database of a table. Clear? Table. But now, if you take a Hadoop, Hadoop does not need any data to be stored in a table. If you have a data in a file, give the file as it is. Then you can start doing the processing with the help of a Hive, Pig, and everything. So Hadoop does not need anything to be stored in your data warehousing or in the table structure. But in your BI application, if you have the data in the file data has to go to the table only. So first, initially, it will go to the staging, from there to the data warehousing, then only process can happen. Clear? Yeah. Now you have Hadoop, Hive, and Pig. The process the data using Hadoop, Hive ecosystem, Hadoop, Pig. So this we cannot use it, but with the help of SSIS, you can also talk to the Hadoop and do the processing. Script task is available. It is used to perform the complex operations with the C#.NET and VB.NET. Access the data by using other technologies that are not supported by built-in connection types. Identify whether specified files are empty or how many rows they contain. Identify whether given folder has files or not. Identify whether the file has received today or not. Lot of complex, you know, requirements will be coming to us. Okay, when you start working with the SSIS, people will say take only today data and process it. Now, how do I know whether it is a today's file or yesterday's file? When you open something here, let me open one folder. So let me open some folder here. People will be saying take only today's file and processes. So this is received on 5th. But how do I say, how do I understand, how do I tell SSIS that, hey, SSIS, take today's file only, process it. It is yesterday's file, don't process it. So if you wanted to implement like this, you have to write the Java code or .NET code. So Java we are not going to be using here. We have to write C#.NET code. Or sometimes you may get the file and this will not have any data. Now you see, the size is 0. So how do you verify whether this is having data or not? Without opening, the .NET can tell you this file is an empty file. So this kind of a thing I have to do the checking or the validation with the help of SSIS. So when you send a file, SSIS can tell you this file is empty file. This file is received today. People will tell you. So what are the empty files? Please send it back. How do you verify? Manually, you should not do that. SSIS should verify that these out of 3000 files, some 400 files are empty files. 400 files are received yesterday and only 100 files are received today. So how do you take only today's files? How do you delete the empty files from the given folder? Lot of things you can automate with the help of a .NET. So we're going to be using .NET here, and we'll also create a lot of demos on this. Even though I don't know .NET, you don't know .NET, you should be able to understand .NET and clear and create this kind of a requirement. Okay, so that is what is called a scripting task. We will be having demos on this. Don't worry about it. Send a mail task. If you wanted to send a mail from SSIS saying that everything is smooth or everything is failed, we can configure this task. Web service task to read the data from the websites or read the data from the web applications. Normally we're going to be using web service task. I would like to read weather data from the website, or I would like to read the some Sensex data, share market data from the websites. So that is when we're going to be using web service task. Clear? And to read the data from the XML task, XML file, we're going to be using XML task. So let us work with all these things from tomorrow. Hadoop file system, Hadoop Hive, Hadoop Pig is added recently, not recently, 4 years back in SSIS 2016. Clear? So these are the tasks that we have. So tomorrow we'll do demos one by one. Then we'll go back to the data flow and other stuff. Am I clear? So do you have any questions to ask?
Basically, I have a question about the FTP test.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah,
You
tell me.
know, okay, actually, yeah, there is a size package. So there is another option I heard in Microsoft Scheduler to get the FTP, link the FTP server and get the data from there. So is there anything like that we can just directly connect to the Microsoft Scheduler? I'm not sure about that part. Is there any way we can take the data directly from there? Like FTP is passing it to the through the Microsoft Scheduler,
No, you can
and
use .NET. You can use .NET libraries and get it.
for that, I'm
Script.
talking about the Microsoft Scheduler.
Yeah.
Okay, and otherwise, the SSIS has the tool for FTP directly to take the data,
Yeah.
right? As you mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.